My social media in the classroom, I chose to use the app Twitter. So, what is Twitter exactly? Twitter is a social media app that allows people to tweet messages out on to a timeline. So, a tweet is a message that can only be 280 characters. So, that means letters, spaces, punctuation, all can combine to be 280 per tweet. Um, I think that Twitter could be used in a classroom for many different reasons. First, classroom announcements and reminders. So that could be due dates for assignments, test dates, reminders of field trips, when field trip money's due, project reminders. I think that could be really beneficial to a student using Twitter. Parental communication. If a parent was to follow the Twitter page of the class, that could keep them informed on test dates, homework that's due, project dates. So that could keep the parents as informed as the students are. Um, as far as the classroom Twitter page, links to helpful content material. So YouTube videos, Quizlets, other study materials that I found helpful, I could post to the Twitter, and the students that wanted to use those resources could. And then finally, tweets regarding study tips. So if I wanted to tweet maybe a hint for the next test, what to look over for the next test, after I said it in class, if they don't remember that from class, they could check the Twitter page and the study tips that I wanted to give out could be on there. As far as security and privacy settings, I could send a letter home with the students saying that this classroom Twitter page has been made, and since Twitter is a social media that is open to the public, um, I should not be held responsible for what their kid is subjected to seeing on Twitter. And then, as far as privacy goes, the teacher, me, would be the only one with access to posting on the account, so nothing out of line would be posted. And then, also included in that letter would be permission saying that I could post your child's photo if need be from maybe attending field trips, outstanding classroom achievements, etc. Some pros of using Twitter, in my opinion, it can be used as a remote tool that allows students to find all kinds of classroom information in one spot. So instead of forgetting, not being able to have a location where test dates, study dates, quiz dates are found, you could just go to the Twitter page, find it there. Twitter is highly interactive. You can make retweets, favorites, quote tweets. So it's really interactive. So if you're friends with a lot of your classmates and you interact with these tweets will also show up on your classmates' timeline. And that also helps build a sense of community within the class. That helps build relationships with people in your class. And like I mentioned, tweets can only be 280 characters. So with that limitation of characters, only impactful, important information can be included within the tweets. Um, I think that could be beneficial. Kind of cuts out the slack that could be found in other posts. And also, I know a lot of kids are using Twitter. So if it's built into your everyday cycle that you're checking Twitter, that could be very helpful to you. So if you're just scrolling through your timeline and you're able to see school related things and you think, oh, that's right, I have an assignment due. And you can do that from doing what you do anyway, that would be perfect. There are cons to using Twitter for a classroom page. Posts would not always show on the timeline chronologically. So the way Twitter works, it kind of picks out the most important tweets and puts those at the top of your timeline. So if you're scrolling and you don't scroll far enough, some of these tweets might not actually show up on your timeline. So it would be important to ensure that the students actually go and they search out the classroom to see all tweets or turn on tweet notifications. Twitter does have the ability to be distracting. As a user of Twitter, I know that videos can pop up that can really distract you from the outside world, so it'd be important to be sure to search out the Twitter of the classroom. And then the limitation of characters, while it does have its benefits, it can also hold you back from tweeting as much information as you want to know. You can thread tweets, but that, like I said previously, might not show up chronologically, so students might miss out on a key piece of information. And that's why I would use Twitter as a classroom social media tool.